This presentation is going to review with you what you need to be aware of when you're preparing yourself to work with clay. Like when it's time to get down to it and start working on your clay, working on your project, wedging your clay, whatever you're doing with it. So, when working at home, there are several challenges you'll be experiencing. And obviously, I'm not at home with you, so I don't know what your living situation is, but these are probably some of the common challenges we will all face, including myself. The first one is physical space, right? What physical space are you working in? Do you have enough room on the table to work safely? Using the pottery tools. We are going to be creating our own pottery tools, and at some point, I'm hoping to be able to give you actual pottery tool kits. Storing your work properly. Properly is the key word. Because if you do not store your work properly, your clay will dry out. Another challenge is understanding what to do. You have the challenge of trying to learn clay through the internet, which is totally possible. It's possible. You can do it. You just have to take some time to understand what you need to do. And then remembering all of the rules and procedures for working with clay. These are not rules that I made up. It's just the facts of clay, right? You have learned that there are different stages of clay, and clay is workable at certain stages. And at some point, if the clay dries out completely, you can't work with it anymore. Clay produces dust. So there are procedures for cleaning up when you're done working with clay. So, working with clay, working with ceramics, it requires several things. The first thing is effort. You do have to put effort into this. Welcome to the real world. You have to make an effort in order to work through the challenges that you'll have working with clay. You might get very stuck on something and you don't know how to make it work with the clay. You might have a hard time wedging. So, you need to figure out how you're going to demonstrate effort in your work. Another aspect is respect, because you have to respect the process of clay. If you do not close your bags, your clay will dry out. That's just part of the process. You have to respect the tools that you're using, whether they're the ones that you create or the ones that I will eventually give you. You have to respect the process. You also have to show determination. And if you didn't know what determination means, it means the quality that makes you continue to try to achieve, right? You're determined to cross the street to get to Starbucks. You're determined to get that A in that class. You're determined to get a good score on that test, right? It's a quality that you have. You're trying to achieve even when it becomes difficult, right? You're determined to pass your driver's test. So you have to have determination when working with ceramics because it's a lot different than just drawing and painting and taking photographs. So there are three things that you need to consider when you're working with clay: effort, respect, and determination. So in class, you already saw the video that shows you what you need to do in order to prepare your workspace. But this is just a reminder: clay preparation, not preparing the clay, but preparing your workspace and preparing yourself, right? Getting ready to work. When I get ready to work with clay, right, I have to prepare myself, not just mentally, but also physically, with having all of the things that I need at my disposal, because you don't want to get stuck working with the clay and then realizing, oh, I need to go get this thing, I need this thing, right? So there are several things you need to set up your workspace. You need some sort of soft fabric. In class we use canvas. You could use a old pillowcase, bed sheet, cut up some fabric. You can use a drop cloth. It's your surface to work on because you don't want clay to stick to the table. Plus, I would say it's going to actually create more mess if you have to work with clay directly on a table. It's more work to clean up. You need your pottery tools. We'll be making our own, and you might be finding some tools around the house that you can use for clay as well. You need water in a bucket or some sort of container. You need an old rag. An old rag you can wipe off your hands. You can help use it to clean off the table. You need plastic bags. Yes, I keep emphasizing this because it's very important. You need gallon-sized Ziploc bags. Those are probably the best thing you can use. And of course, you need your clay. Your clay could be in a bag and you're going to use it. You could have wedged it and it's waiting for you to use. Could be the project you're working on. You also need to prepare yourself though. So when it's time to work with clay, put on your apron. Put on an old shirt. Do you want to get clay on your pajamas? Do you want to get clay on your black sweatshirt? Clay is notorious for showing up on dark colored clothing. It's just the way, it creates dust. It shows up on your clothes. Do you want that on you? Probably not. You also need to roll up your sleeves. If you're cold and you're wearing something with long sleeves, you might get clay on the edges of those sleeves. So roll them up. You also need to take off any jewelry from your hands and wrists. That includes bracelets, hair ties, and rings. You don't want to be wearing this stuff. I mean, you can wear it when you're working with the clay, but you might end up with unintended marks on the surface. And do you really want clay getting on your jewelry? Probably not.